half a year ago, and I have tried to use these Ganses to make it work. It's basically 4 plastic bags with approximately 60 milliliter of liquid plasma.
Which one?
Can we get this maybe drawn out or otherwise display, because I think it'll be important to have a look at it for everybody.
Yes, but let me just explain. It's very simple.
Explain.
Actually.
Okay, explain, please.
You have 4 bags and you put the 4 basic Ganses, 1 Gans in each bag. And when you have a bag, then you add with the 60 milliliter of liquid plasma, you add 1 drop from the 3 other Ganses into each of them. So every bag has all 4 Ganses, but only 3 drops from the 3 other Ganses. And then I have hung them in the house according to the magnetic field of the Earth, so that I have CH3 to the east, zinc oxide to the south, copper oxide to the west, and CO2 to the north. And as I said before, I assembled the macro. I got a heating effect. I could maybe get 3, 4, sometimes 5 degrees more inside the house than outside the house. But it seems now that it's sufficiently powerful to give a very comfortable temperature inside the house.
You're nearly 10 degrees up.
Yes.
Okay, can you explain to us where you put the maglev system, please?
Yes, because of practical reasons, I have put it in one end of the house. And the funny thing about this is that the cellar floor, I have a 2-story house, and it's on the upper story in one end of the house, the north end of the house. And the cellar floor with tiles at the other end of the house, when I measure it with a infrared gun, it is 23 degrees, the floor. And when I measure...
How you put those Ganses all in one floor or 2 different floors?
I put it in every room of the house, except one.
So the bags of...
Sorry, you break out now.
4 bags in each room.
4 bags in each room on both stories.
Okay. Carry on, please.
Yes, and after I got this working, I have another house in Sweden. And I was thinking that when I come there, it's often quite cold. So I prepared some bags and went to Sweden last weekend. And I put up but I hadn't got enough Ganses. I actually gave 4 bags to my neighbor over there also, and for him to hang up. And so I missed 12 bags in this house. And there's no macro there. And the funny thing or nice thing about it is that suddenly the heat started working there also. I have an air temperature of 21, 22 degrees in the house, maybe 1 degree lower than here in the Danish house, and there's no macro. And I wonder, how can it be that now I have been fighting to get heat in the Danish house for months, and now when I got heat in the Danish house with the macro and I go to Sweden, there is no macro and it works there also. That is something I wonder about. Have you any explanation on that?
Yes.
Sounds good.
You explain, then I explain. You explained it yourself. You don't need me. Let me tell you what it. The secret. What you have done is exactly converting what those who did in the dynamic reactors, where you put some of the CH3 in the inner core and you put a little bit of it in the outer core. And then you start the process. John in Arizona did a couple of these tests and he gave up because he could not make the connection. This is what you do in your star formation for John, if you understand. I hope you understood what this is about. What has happened is that because you put one drop of the other three, which means all the 4 bags have a connection with each other, and in that connection they try to link up, and with it they bring the fields from one bag to the other. The key is that CO2. The CO2 is the transfer of energy, not so much anything else. Your CH3 is the one which gives the heat. In one of your processes, most probably CH3 was not sufficient, or it wasn't the right way, or was not correct. Your others which you put in, zinc oxide, is the emotional feeling of the warmer. The copper oxide which you put in interacts with the flow of the current in the house on the matter state, and most probably you have copper wires everywhere. You introduce the maglev unit. In a way you create a connection with a copper and a copper wire. If you go back to your Danish house and look if you have something made of copper in the house somewhere.
A lot of wires.
Except wires. There is something most probably made of copper. That's
yes,
why you don't need.
Outside the living room is actually a big pot you used in the old days when you were slaughtering animals and had to prepare them and to get off the hair. And as I'm an electrical engineer, I have lots of copper in my house.
But is that made of copper in your other house?
In the other house, that is very ordinary. It is the house has been.
No, I mean in the house you have no maglev in.
Yeah, that's the Swedish house, and that is completely ordinary with no extra copper. Actually, they have saved a lot on it because they had not been so rich, the people that lived there. So very little copper wire there.
Where in the Swedish house?
In the Swedish house, but they have arranged the kitchen and the bathroom very close to each other, and for the water distribution they have used copper tubes, so there is some copper there.
So what it is in reality, in having one drop of each element in the other, you have created the flow between it. And what temperature you get is the ratio difference between the field flow and what comes. You literally have created what I call amino acid condition. And it gives you the feeling because of the zinc which is used, because now the field flow of the zinc trying to catch up weaker to the stronger. All the bags are trying to catch up with whatever is strong enough, colder, what do you call it, weaker, and this friction creates heat. That's why the house is warm.
I have to say that credits to the idea of putting one drop of the others into the one specific Gans. This credit goes to Eva.
Thank you very much.
I didn't.
Thank you very much. But this is how all the what do you call it? The reactors which you are supposed to be or lead, we do it in a bigger ratio. That we put some of the 1/3 of the one and 2/3 of the other in the outer, and we put 1/3 of the one and the other one. So this adding and mixing and keeping a common denominator is the reason that's why you're having a heating done in the house at 22 degrees. You will find out if, for example, in the room, increase one of the bagons of 60 mil to 120 mil or 180 mil. And let us know the result. 1 out of the 4. And I advise you for it to be CH3. See if you get an increase in temperature.
I guess so, I will. Because I would like to test this theory with you, because I've been thinking a lot about this, and as I see the work of the plasma, in order to create the heat, you need an interaction between a static field and a dynamic field to harvest some energy, convert some energy. And
that's the old way. That's the old way. In a way, if you look at it for plasma, you get much stronger field. And you have created a balanced field, like if you don't need that static, because the interaction of the field packages will give you that feeling. What I suggest to do is put the CH3 on a window and see on where there is a window, and change the position and see if you get a different temperature than when the CH3 is not on the window.
yes, I will do that, and I will report back.